Call the meeting to order.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
We have some minutes that we need to approve. The first being from our July 22nd, 2013 regular session. And I will move approval of those minutes.
Second.
Flash,
Yes?
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols.
Abstain.
I need to change that to abstain. Apparently I wasn't here. Oh, I was on vacation. That's right. I need another vacation, see?
The second set of minutes that we have is those dated August 7th, 2013. That was our special budget session, and I move approval of those minutes.
Second.
Flash,
Yes?
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Abstain as I was absent.
Nichols.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is a public hearing. It's the annexation of property located at 3100 South Clark and a .17 acre parcel south of 3076 South Clark into the Mexico City limits. And I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Flash,
Yes?
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a voluntary request for annexation, and to cover the details of the annexation, its location, I'll turn to Rita Jackson.
The City of Mexico has received petitions from GLH Holdings LLC with George Hoffman and Linda Hoffman as owners in Audrain County, and from David Wayne Robertson and Virginia A. Robertson to annex their properties located east of Highway 54 South and south of Kelly Parkway into the city limits. GLH Holdings LLC and Audrain County property is located at 3100 South Clark. This will be the new home of Pearl Motor Company, which is currently under construction and scheduled for completion by the end of the year. The Robinson's 0.17 acre parcel is located to the south of 3076 South Clark, which is the DQ Grill and Chill, a 50-foot tract south of their drive-through window area. The purpose of this public hearing is to obtain input from any interested person, corporation, political subdivision regarding the proposed annexation. After a 14-day waiting period, if no objection is filed, the City Council will be presented with an ordinance for the annexation. This annexation is reasonable and necessary for the proper development of the city. The City of Mexico has the ability to furnish normal municipal services to this area. Staff recommends that council proceed with the advertised public hearing. We do have George Hoffman present if you have any additional questions.
Anybody want to say anything in the audience about this? Before I say
This is a
anything.
public hearing, sir.
Yes, it's a
Get
public hearing, so if anybody has anything to say.
What will that come in as? Is that C2 when it comes in?
All property that's annexed into the city comes in as an R1, and then it goes to city council, to planning and zoning to be rezoned to its proper zoning.
So it will go to commercial fairly quickly.
Yes.
But
That
we
will
have
be
to
followed.
rezone it? We can't bring it in as C2?
No, that's state law, it has to come in as our.
Okay.
Well, I'll say I'm disappointed the county didn't show up. I think one thing you're not telling people is this property is where the city's not getting anything for this property. This property's been completely tax abated, correct? They pay a small sum, but for all intents and purposes, it is tax abated, and we're going to be providing services. Is that correct?
Yes.
my position on this is, we are condoning giving breaks to competing businesses. So if Auburn comes to the city and says, we want a new place, how does that work? Or Mexico Motors? Or, because we are, in essence, the county, in essence, we didn't do it, gave one business that competes with other businesses directly in our city limits a competitive advantage. I mean, it is a competitive advantage. They're getting a new building, better, obviously, better space. And so I don't know how we reconcile that. It's not our call, but I just thought I'd put that out there. On the other hand, we don't want to lose the sales tax from Pearls either. So disappointed the county didn't feel they needed to do that, to come and answer any of those questions. But
Any other comments? Anyone from the public like to make a comment? Any other council member? Hearing none, I move we adjourn the close the public hearing.
second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Under new business resolutions this evening, we have Bill Number 2013-51, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change order number 1 with Missouri Petroleum Products Company for the 2013 Micro Seal project. This is up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. As a part of the summer street repair construction, we had broke this contract this year into 3 separate contracts, and that we did have a balance of funds left, and believe that it'd be important to do some additional work. So I will turn to Kenzie Russell to cover what work we are talking about and the location and the cost.
Missouri Petroleum Products has been the contractor for the last couple of years on the micro seal work here in town. And in a sense, by default, when we found that our bids on the concrete, asphalt, and micro seal had come in under budget, better than expected, we looked to see what additional street maintenance work we could do. Wade Street from Highway 22 or Monroe all the way over to Highway 15 Western will cost us about $31,374 to microseal. Our asphalt contractor was a new contractor this year. We really didn't know what kind of work he would do. As it turned out, he did a very good job, did good cleanup behind him, and we were quite pleased with the work. But that uncertainty and the fact that our concrete contract had not even started yet, and so we didn't know what kind of overrun we might or might not have there, we decided to apply a portion of the extra funds to the microseal. And so we're still holding some funds from our budget in reserve for any overrun from the concrete work. And with that as a cushion, we felt that the microseal work would be appropriate for the additional work this year. And we're recommending a change order to that work. Missouri Petroleum had initially planned to be in town last week due to weather and their job that they're on has been delayed, and so as of last week they anticipated that it would be about 2 weeks before they would get here in town. Wade Street running by the high school, of course, will be a concern. We'll have to work with the contractor and with the school system to schedule that work to minimize disruption of traffic there. It's possible we might do it on a Saturday or do it evening when there'd be less traffic. But we're recommending that this change order be approved.
Is that the entire length of Wade Street or
Yes, sir.
entire length?
And is this something that was originally set up for next year?
It was on our list to do. We develop a list based on our pavement assessments, our rating of the condition of the pavement. We develop lists for the different types of maintenance work to be done. Wade Street was on the microseal list for that. We didn't think we would have enough money to do it this year, and so it was not in the original bid.
So it kind of gives us a leg up on next year.
It gives us a leg up. We'll be able to apply funds next year to the next several streets down the list.
Good.
They so-called that little section of street between Monroe and West Lakes, Wade Street.
Between Monroe and Westlake, you have, that may be a piece of Wade. You've got Abbott and Missouri up there on either side of Casey's. And so the next
doesn't
block
go
east,
clear
we get-
to
Yeah, there would be a little short piece
one
there,
block off, yeah.
which we're not addressing this year.
Anything else?
I move for reading of bill number 2013-51.
Second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Bill number 2013-51, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change order number 1 with Missouri Petroleum Products Company for the 2013 micro seal project. Whereas the city of Mexico currently has a contract with Missouri Petroleum Products for the 2013 micro seal project, and whereas a balance of $40,000 remains in the annual street maintenance budget, allowing Wade Street to be evaluated for the micro seal project. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City of Mexico accepts the change order addition of $31,374.07 to the contract for a total contract of $115,204.70. Section 2, the city manager is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the City of Mexico change order number 1 to the 2013 micro seal project. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2013-51.
Second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
The next new business resolution we have is bill number 2013-52, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change order number 12 to the wastewater treatment plan, Phase 2, contract with River City Construction. This is up for reading and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. This is another change order dealing with the wastewater treatment plant. This is a substantially complete project at this point. This is following with some punch lists. There are some adds and as well as some deducts. And to cover all those, I will once again turn to Kenzie Russell.
We are slowly coming to the conclusion of our second phase at the wastewater treatment plant. All of the work is done with the exception of the installation of a flame arrestor on the methane collection system and the startup of the primary digester, which involves setting pressures in the blower mixing system and pressures in the collection system and the boiler. It requires the contractor to get 3 different vendors here at the same time to do that startup and the training of our folks on that element. So this represents, I believe, the last significant change order on the project. We are closing in on completion. The 2 of the vendors, one arrived today, another is supposed to be here tomorrow, and so we're certainly hoping that everything will get started up here very shortly. This change order does include a number of items which show in a table on the attachment. There's, I believe, about 6 items there, including some deduction items. As you may recall, I had noted that we would have some deducts for handling the biosolids from the digester cleanout. That's represented, that's the major item represented here.
Are we burning the gas now?
No, that's part of the startup. We haven't got that part started up. That's the remaining piece.
Must sound like a stupid question. Would that help the smell any at all?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Lighter up, lighter up.
The odors that we've had this summer are the result of the digestion process in the digester. It's in essence like a large oven, if you will, that's cooking the biosolids, and until we can get the mixing going properly and the gas collection system, those are creating some odor.
Make a motion to read bill number 2013-52.
Second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bill number 2013-52, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign change order number 12 to the wastewater treatment plant Phase 2 contract with River City Construction. Whereas the City of Mexico currently has a contract with River City Construction for the wastewater treatment plant Phase 2 project, and whereas change order number 12 addresses a number of items on the project and indicated on the attached table. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Mexico, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the city manager is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the City of Mexico change order number 12 to the wastewater treatment plant Phase 2 contract with River City Construction. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the time of its passage. I move for passage of bill number 2013-52.
Second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Under new business ordinance this evening, we have bill number 2013-53, an ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal officials. This is up for first reading by title only. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, this is an annual ordinance. This is in accordance with the provisions set out in Senate Bill 262, whereby each political subdivision with an annual operating budget in excess of $1 million must file personal financial interest statements or devise a code of ethics. This ordinance establishes a procedure for the disclosure by certain officials and employees of private financial and other interest in matters that affect the city. This therefore applies to all the elected officials, the city manager, and the chief purchasing officer. Therefore, I recommend that the council proceed with the first reading by title only of the attached ordinance.
I make a motion, I read bill number 2013-53, first reading by title only.
Second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes. Bill number 2013-53, an ordinance of the City of Mexico, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain municipal office officials.
Okay, the next ordinance we have is bill number 2013-54, an ordinance amending the code of the City of Mexico, Missouri, Chapter 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 10, Schedules. This is also up for first reading by title only. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor, this ordinance affects and establishes a no parking zone, and to cover the details of where this is going to be at, we will turn to Kenzie Russell.
In Lakeview Park, we have a campground, we have picnic grounds, we have a walking trail, and for some time, a portion of the walking trail has existed on the roadway that's a part of the loop around the campground there in Lakeview. There has not been parking intended to be allowed on top of the trail, but there's not been an ordinance in place that would allow public safety to enforce no parking. The old line markings for the trail need to be repainted. We intend to get that repainted this fall, and as part of the upgrade, we've proposed this ordinance that would establish a no parking zone between the trailheads. It's essentially along the north loop of the campground road, and that would, we'll erect signs if the ordinance passes. That would allow enforcement of no parking as needed or necessary there in the park. The trailhead in the parking lot here and the trailhead in the parking lot on the east, there will be a white line stripe demarking the walking trail portion, a dashed line across the parking lot that goes to the playground area that lets people cross that line. And then the no parking signs would be established along the north side of the road there.
Has there been an issue or problem recently that has caused you to make this change?
I asked Chad for some assistance there, being more familiar with what goes on in the parks.
This was when Chad McCullough designed the trail. This was supposed to be done at that time. And if you'll remember, not too long after we finished this trail, Chad went back to private employment. Just simply never got done. That was the reason we built that additional parking lot at that time, so that we would more than offset the parking that was lost here. And it was just kind of one of those things that we've been trying to get back around and get done for a long period of time. It does create a bit of a conflict with kids coming into that area with bicycles and things like that. They got to swirl around cars and go out into the traffic way instead of just being able to proceed through that.
Is there any plans for any additional parking then? I just say because like when we were doing Earth Day out there and other events, when there's events out there, there's not enough parking out there.
We certainly use more parking in that sense. You know, up until this point, you know, that's been one of those functions of, you know, the almighty dollar. We really have about 40 more parking lots. On the master plan survey that we're currently working on, getting ready to go out, there is questions on there from people as to, is that one thing GUNC issues this money to create additional parking? So we'll be able to get a public feedback on this. But yeah, I think.
Are the surveys already out?
No, the rough has been in our hands, in fact, we've already expect the rough to put a final draft back in the next 2 weeks to get the park for it. This is not the only park we need more parking, frankly.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you go out there on a Saturday or something, or a couple of families are out there barbecuing, or I mean,
Even
it's
Saturday morning soccer games.
yeah, it's
Barbecue, Garfield, no parking, really desperately needs parking lot.
yep.
Your Honor, I move for first reading of Bill number 2013-54 by title only.
Second.
Black,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bill number 2013-54, an ordinance amending the code of the City of Mexico, Missouri, Chapter 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 10, Schedules.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Bill number 2013-55, an ordinance authorizing the City of Mexico, Missouri to issue its Industrial Development Revenue Bond, BG Holding Company LLC, Series 2013, for the purpose of providing funds to pay the cost of a project to be leased to BG Holding Company LLC, approving a plan for the project, and authorizing and approving certain documents and actions in connection with the issuance of the bond. This is up for 2 readings by title only and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. Council approved the issuance of taxable industrial development revenue bonds to finance a project for BG Holding Companies LLC at the July 8, 2013 meeting. The Series 2013 bonds will be issued pursuant to a bond purchase agreement between the city, Martinsburg Bank and Trust, and will be secured by a deed of trust, where the city will be granted a lien on the facility to BG Holding Company LLC, and the assignment under the bond purchase agreement of the lease agreement with BG Holding Company LLC to Goldcrest Distributing LLC. Melvin L. Toner and Beverly A. Toner will also guarantee the payment of the series of the 2013 bonds. As a part of the process, we were to provide notice to all affected taxing jurisdictions by law. We have done so. We have received, I would call it as 2 comments. The first was from the Mexico Public School District, where they held a special meeting last Monday. I believe that all questions that they had were asked and answered. They did indicate that in the future that they would, at least part of the board indicated a request that there be a payment in lieu of taxes on future issues of such, but they did stop short of issuing any official statement on that or policy on that. I also received a letter from the Department of Revenue from the state acknowledging receipt of the notice of tonight's meeting, and they stated that they respectfully decline any comment on the above matter. Therefore, staff at this time, or I would recommend that council proceed with the 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance authorizing the issuance of the Industrial Development Revenue Bonds, Series 2013, for BG Holding Company, LLC. The ordinance has been posted the required length of time, and Mel Toner is in the audience should you have any questions, or if you'd like to even make a statement.
Okay. I'd just like to, on the behalf of myself, my family, and all of our employees, to thank the council for their support and consideration on this matter. We tried very hard. I believe we provided you all the information you requested at the last meeting, and I don't have a lot to add, but if anybody has a question, I'll do my very best to answer.
Thank you. I'm going to deviate a little from our normal practice and allow comments from the audience on this, since this is an important development for our community. And if you would like to make a comment about it, you can do so now. I ask that you keep it brief. Yes, come to the podium, please. State your name and address.
My name is Jim Williams, and I live at 1975 Quail Hill. Thank you for letting me speak. I'm just going to bring up the word abatement, because for 20 years we have been abating taxes. And with, respect to the Toner family, I go to church with them. They're great people. They've done an incredible job of building their business. I have great respect for that. Where I'm losing respect is for constantly giving away. I know Mr. Williams talked about an abatement on the property for Pearl, which the county didn't show up for, but we have been giving away and giving away and giving away since the 80s. Nexans abated. That's after Optech abated for 10 years, then moved out, and Nexans had it for 10 years. Another abatement. Our schools, we're going to cut $458,000 out from them for the next 14 years. I mean, I might be, numbers might be off here, but that's kind of what I'm going off of. They're broke. They're cutting programs. Every time you turn around, we hear we're broke, we're broke, we're broke. Yet begging for money. Our county, they've been begging for money for 20 years. They've been saying they're broke for 20 years. Can't afford roads, can't afford bridges, can't afford anything in the county because we're broke. We had to move our 911. They said, if we don't have another tax, we're going to have to move to Boone County. So they were coming with another tax. Health department, ambulance, they all get cut out whenever we have abatements. And again, it's nothing. I'm not here to say, shame on Goldcrest or shame on. I'm just saying, for the future, we need to look at these abatements. We are ruining our community of Mexico, Missouri by giving everything away. Our city, they're going to lose, what, $81,000, over the next, several years. We just passed the park sales tax, which, flip a coin on that, which put us into one of the highest sales tax rates in the state of Missouri. So we have a chance to get some of this money, but then we're going to lose some of this money whenever we take, money away with abatements. My biggest thing is, with the city, I've been broken into 5-6 times at my office. I love it when Chief Rocket's officers show up at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're ready to go. They're ready. They got the flashlights and the guns, and I feel like You know, I don't have a problem when they're there at my office at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's dark. I don't want cuts to public safety. Will it bring jobs? I hope it does. I hope this works out, and I don't have any feeling to think that it won't bring jobs. He's already created a lot of jobs as it is. I don't have a problem with that. Are people going to move into Mexico? Again, I hope so. Are they going to commute? You know, we've had a lot of people that, even though we have new jobs, they still commute to Columbia. So, you know, it kind of in essence is going forward as these opportunities arise, is we need to look at what we're giving away. And my biggest beef is the school, because I now have a kid in the public school, and I looked at Tolton and I looked at Mexico, and I chose Mexico. But now we're going to cut that back. You know, our future is in that school, and if we don't work on this future, we're not going to have a Mexico. We're just going to be another, you know, worn-out town with a couple brick plants in it that are sitting empty. So, just kind of food for thought for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Ralph Nika, 328 Teal Lake Road. I just want to emphasize what this gentleman just said. I think he certainly has a point. I do think, however, that the Goldcrest situation here is a much, much better situation than the other two that have preceded it. By way of information, there is on all three of these situations, there is a summary of tax impact analysis that is contained in each one of their documents. And according to what I'm looking at, actually the Mexico school system is going to lose about $1.5 million out of all three of them. Now, I don't know if the general public is aware of this. I know I have never seen anything published about what the implications are of these types of situations. Not that they're not many times appropriate, but I really think that the public, you know, the citizens, the taxpayers that are paying public officials and public employees' salaries and benefits need to be aware of all of the information on all of these situations like this before they are actually discussed and passed. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
Can I say a few things? I think where the problem is, from what I see and from talking to people, is the town, the city, the county, nobody has any policy. None. Oh, Fred over there, hey, you want to do this? You know what, hey, let's tax abate you. Joe, you know, whatever you want to do, let's just tax abate you. I did some Google searching, and almost every community around us has a tax abatement policy. Even little bitty Ashland by Columbia has a tax abatement policy. I believe, Lou, you do work for Boonville, correct? They have a tax abatement policy. And I think if you had a policy that everybody could agree on, then these problems wouldn't be a problem. And I pulled one statement off of the DED website that I thought kind of went with this, and it says, DED strongly recommends that a city or county obtain the endorsement of all taxing authorities before, in bold letters, they offer any type of tax abatement to a company. It is not a legally required procedure, but history has demonstrated it is a very good practice to prevent poor public relations and possible lawsuits. And I think some of the deals we have going right now are poor public relations. I think Mel's deal, I mean, at least it creates jobs. But I would say that I would recommend that I can't speak for the county, but I think the city needs to sit back and say, we need a policy on how we're going to do this in the future. And I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I think that would solve a lot of problems. And I think a lot of people could, if we could get everybody together to agree what's reasonable and what's not reasonable. Because some of these deals just aren't very reasonable when you look at them on face value. And, you know, I shouldn't say Pearls because it's not you. It's not George Huffman. It's not Pearls. The county made that decision. Gorman, the county did that. The question is, should they have done that? Would the public approve that? The public probably wouldn't approve that. If we put it to a vote, they'd be like, no, because they're not guaranteeing anything for the community. When you look at DED's website, the whole purpose of Chapter 100 bonds is to grow your community, to attract jobs. And out of all the deals, the only one that I've seen, because I have the whole prospectus for all three deals, the only one that mentions jobs is Mel's. And he's getting the brunt of this because the school board, I've talked to them, they're pissed off about the other deals. That's why they were mad, because I guess they got into it with Hobbs about it at the school board meeting. Yes.
I've already hired 7 people since I started.
Well,
Tired of getting old. Well,
no.
Well, if you want to speak, wait till your turn. He's not through.
Yeah, I'm not through. The prospectus, you weren't required to break any jobs, is what I'm saying. I think your deal, I don't know a lot about your deal, but I think it could make jobs, and apparently it is. That's great. But there's no guarantees. In Mel's deal, there's a guarantee and there's a fine if he doesn't create those jobs. That he has to pay $50,000, right? If you don't create those jobs. The county decided they didn't, that was not a requirement for anybody. So, you know, you can look at these things and make a decision, but I think at the end of the day, it's policy, and I think we need a policy for the county and for the city. So, and I'm sorry that, and I'm glad you're creating jobs. I'm just going by what the prospectus says. It doesn't require you to make any jobs, and it doesn't require Pearls to create any jobs, but it does require Mel to make jobs. So I can't speak for your deal. All I can do is go with what the bond prospectus says, if that makes sense to you. So I'm glad you're creating jobs. So,
Mr. Corman, would you like to make a comment?
Sure. Man, I think you standing up there and talking about my company is unfair about getting the information. If you wanted to talk about my company, you should have talked. The other thing is, you'll keep talking about companies that you helped and the city's helped in the past, like Nexan. Where have we been without Nexan? Nexan brought a lot of money and put a lot of people to work. I have a lot of friends that work there. Surely y'all didn't get the money for the taxes, but you got it other ways. I mean, and all the businesses around here, including the ones you're talking about, thrived from it. I mean, the machine shops and the just all the companies in town. You know, they paid employees and they come to town and they spent the money. And you're knocking these programs, and I mean, what's Russell going to use to get a company in here if he doesn't have this program that you yourself said everybody, even Ashland, uses? If you take that away from him, what do we need him for?
I don't want to take it away. I want it to be used in a way that everybody in the community can agree to use it. I think they're a great deal. If a company comes in and says, if Procter & Gamble shows up tomorrow and says, we're going to create 150 jobs, but we need a Chapter 100 for $20 million, I'm the first one there. The problem is where is that line? Is it 5 jobs for $20 million? Is it 0? Is it 2 jobs? Is it, do you see what I'm saying? I mean, you got to have some kind of requirements. You can't just say,
I really don't. I mean, Pearl Motor Company, if the Pearls don't upgrade, they go away. Do you think our town's going to do a lot of good without Pearl Motor Company? You think it's going to help our company, our city thrive when we lose our Chevy dealership? I don't think it's going to help us, because you yourself says we like that down at the sales tax office. It doesn't do any good, and right now it's just a unique situation because you got 3 local people wanting the same program. And us 3 local people have been sitting back for years saying the city helps these people from outside of town. It's our turn. Why can't they help us? And it's a great opportunity for the city or the county to give us a hand. And who was at the Nexan hearing opposing that? Nobody. Who was at the county when other entities from not local were wanting that? Nobody. I was the first one that was in the paper and had to face everybody because it's never been explained. I think the big problem is we don't get in the paper, we don't totally explain why we need it, and the whole public isn't educated on it, so they're going, we're giving the money away. We're not giving any Mel's money away. They haven't ever received it. And if he doesn't build it because you all say no, you're not going to get it either. That's just 20 families that may not get jobs, and on the other swing, you might take them from not getting jobs to being on welfare or on the unemployment fund. And are you all wanting to be responsible for sitting 20 people out of a job?
I don't think nobody, including myself, is against Chapter 100 bonds. I'm not against that. I think they're a great tool. My problem is where do you draw the line? Let me give you an example. Would it be okay if Burger King came to town and the county tax abated them down the street on county property, and then we annexed them in? Wouldn't that give them a competitive advantage over current restaurants? How is that fair to the community?
Okay. You asked, why can't McDonald's turn around and do the same thing?
That's where we get into the thing. What do we do? Can we afford as a community, so we're going to tax abate every restaurant? We're going to tax abate every car dealership? And then where do we get that money from? Because we have to have money to run. The county, the city, the fire, the police. If we start with one, you're on a slippery slope. So if Burger King does it, then McDonald's, then Hardee's, then Taco Bell, who's paying the property tax then? For businesses like yours, you're not competing with another business really in town. You do a lot of stuff that doesn't really put you head to head with other businesses. Whereas
You can't tell me that Offenburg didn't make that decision already. Offenburg made this decision when they decided to stay in town. They had the opportunity to come to you all before they made that decision over there to clear off the other building. Didn't the city help clear that building?
yeah, they did help clear that
So the
building.
city did help them. You know?
And I voted against that. Because
Well,
I
it doesn't matter. The city still did it. You're
Yeah.
part of it.
No, yeah.
So Offenburg had that same opportunity as George did, because they have a piece of property that said they bought out of the county, and they decided to do this. You know, that was their business plan. It's everybody's business plan. It was everybody's risk to do it. But I don't have a problem with you doing it for them too. If it's out there on the highway and it brings more customers to Mexico, Missouri, because the better looking dealerships, that's what they do. They bring more customers to town. And that's what we want. We want more people coming to town to spend their money, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah.
But that's not what Chapter 100 bonds are not supposed to be really for commercial development. It even says that in Chapter 100. What they've done is they've said, in Pearl's case, is it's an interstate commerce business. Now, hey, I'm sure that's a legal term, but I don't think that's the intent of interstate commerce.
So if it wasn't,
You couldn't abate a Burger King. It would be against Chapter 100 law.
so there's a book you get.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read it. It's about this big, and I've read it over twice. And there's 4 lawyers at least, or 5, that has to handle these things. If it wasn't legal.
Oh, it's legal, but
there's nothing wrong with what he's doing.
No.
Otherwise, somebody would be standing up saying you can't do this.
it goes back to what I just said with the poor public relations. Because people look at this and
I
they...
want to argue with me, it's poor public knowledge of what we need, what you have to do to get businesses to.
I would...
Because I would agree with you that it's maybe not, it's not a good plan overall, but it's necessary evil because everybody does it. And we have these guys that have got to go out and get people in Mexico, Missouri that have to offer that. They have to offer it. In other words, we're not going to get business here. And if you get public in here and think they're gonna lose money on this, out of the school board every time. Well, sooner or later, you're gonna reject the good business. I mean, would y'all really wanted to reject Nexan? I mean, honestly, would you want to have lost Nexan?
You're
even though
not
they're
going to
still not
reject,
here?
you're not going to reject any business that's going to create jobs.
What? I mean,
But- but
if
you're-
you don't educate the public and you put that risk in front of us, you guys up here, then it can happen.
That's why I'm arguing that Mel's deal is a totally different deal. Because when you guys sign these bond deals, the prospectuses, they put in there what you're going to lose and what your requirements are. You signed one, right? And it said you have to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, when you do a deal like Nexans and stuff, there's a requirement on those jobs. There's a requirement, just like in Mel's deal. He has to provide so many jobs, just like Mid-America Brick had to do that. The county decided they didn't want to do that. And so it looks, and I agree with you, it's poor knowledge. It looks like they're just doing it to do it. Does that make sense? And that doesn't
But
really
what you're not
prove.
looking at from our side of the view is all these other companies from out of town have done it. These three have done it from in town. And we're getting slapped around about it. So when the next guy in town, because economics is economics, the closer you keep your money, the better. So if somebody in town that spends their money in town creates more jobs, well, that's 100% better than somebody in Japan creating jobs and spending their money in Japan that they profit on us. So we're in here and we're going to spend our money here. And then you turn around and we get slapped around, and the next guy, small business in town that would like to come up and do this, say, I'm not going through what George and Mel and Mark went through. I'm not going to do it because it's crap. And that's what's happened here. You all slap the local guys around when you with your comments like that, and it does wear you down. And you know, it's like you said, Corman didn't create jobs. You didn't do your due diligence before the company
I went by
came out.
the bond.
I don't care. You didn't call me.
No,
I created jobs. I created jobs, and I'm gonna create more. And I'm here because I felt like it was my duty to do that for Mexico, because Mexico's given a lot to me. And that's the way, I'm pretty sure the way why Mel's doing that here too. And I know that's why George is. So I'm saying it's time y'all quit slapping the local guy around. You know, let these guys do their job, because if you vote that they can't freely do their job, then we're gonna lose more.
I'll make a few comments real quick. The word abatement's been thrown around a lot, and I just want to touch on that. I'm paying 100% of my 2012 taxes. They're not going backwards. The school district, the city, anybody's not going backwards on what I'm doing. You look at those big numbers that you read in the thing, and as long as the bonds are in effect, or if I owe money, then yes, that big number can get that big. But if I pay that off, or whatever, that goes away, and there's no way. Progress takes money. You made a comment that said, we annex him in, he gets a new building. I didn't just get a new building. I've been paying millions. I'm pumping millions of dollars into this economy, millions, plural. It's not a matter of getting a new building. So it's pretty unfortunate that I am getting slapped around a little bit. I give a lot to this community and care a lot about this community, and it is very disappointing. So that comment about making it seem like I just get a new building, and then you asked, how do we handle if Offenburg wants to do it? I would think that every case would be handled on a case-by-case basis, and if they want to inject millions of dollars, and that's your decision, you shouldn't have to ask that question. You're an elected official that should be able to realize that answer. So I'm going to sit back down, but I just want you to know that I'm not just getting a new building, I'm spending lots and lots of money.
Any other comments?
I'm almost afraid to say anything. No, I'm not either. Okay, here we go. I've been looking over the square trying to find a crystal ball, and I cannot find one anywhere. I think every time the council has ever given the taxes away on a business, they didn't intend to just taking advantage of the citizens and doing away with their tax money. I think their whole goal was to make jobs. At every place, whether they succeed or they fail, the intent was to make jobs. And after Mid-America Brick, it kind of makes you a little bit scared about doing something like that. So when Mill come forward, it's kind of, but you get to the point that, there's nothing a sure thing. If you don't gamble on jobs, you're giving them away. You either got a chance of getting them or you got no chance whatsoever. When we didn't get Mantech, I got raked over the coals about that. And, sometimes it's good not to get a place. Back in the old days, you used to be able to give taxes up, and you got business coming in everywhere. But anymore, they want you to give them land, they want you to build the building, everything. It just goes on and on and on. And I'm almost 60 years old, and I don't think I've ever heard the school district say they had too much money. Every year, they don't have enough money. And that's whether we give taxes away or not, so, okay, I'm done.
I would say it is a fact that you have to give to receive. You have to do abatements, you have to do TIFs, you have to do whatever you can to get business. I would take what Mr. Corman said and I would say he is right in the fact it is knowledge. Part of it is knowledge. People don't realize what's going on. They don't understand what's going on. And they just look at it and they go, hey, how about what's this deal? What's that deal? And that's why I go back to the fact you got to have some kind of policy. You have to have a policy because if you just open door, because when I look at these deals, there's no consistency in between the three deals. They're all three different unique deals that in a lot of towns, they wouldn't fit some of the policies. And so you have to take that into consideration when you do these deals. But nobody up here is going to say we're not going to do anything we can to get jobs. But we have to also look out for the taxpayers. And in this situation, I would say the DED's comment is very, very true because, as Corman said, when he had his meeting, he had to face the wrath of the people, and it's public relations. The public doesn't know. They just say, well, you're getting, and I shouldn't have made that comment, you got to have a new building. I know you're still paying a bunch of money, but it is, they just look at it and they go, why is this person getting this deal and I can't get this deal? And people can't figure that out. They can't understand. They can understand when I say to Mel's deal, they can understand that. Because I can say, well, this is how the city handled this, and they're gonna create jobs. And most of the time, when people hear that, they understand the reality. And I think, I'm sorry that if I made you feel like I just didn't know you created jobs because it wasn't there, and I should have asked you. But that's public relations, really. And I think the county would have been well to put that out that you guys were going to create jobs and what you were going to do for the community because they really didn't. I didn't hear much about it. And from talking to school board members, that's where they got kind of ticked off because they weren't aware of what was going on. So I apologize. I know you guys do a lot for the community, and it wasn't meant about you guys. It's really meant about how we move forward with abatement processes from here on out.
Are there other comments? Your turn. Not, I move for reading of bill number 2013-55, first reading by title only.
Second.
Lush,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bud,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Bill number 2013-55, an ordinance authorizing the City of Mexico, Missouri to issue its Industrial Development Revenue Bond, BG Holding Company, Series 2013, for the purpose of providing funds to pay the cost of a project to be leased to BG Holding Company, LLC, approving a plan for the project and authorizing and approving certain documents and actions in connection with the issuance of the bond. I move for
Yep.
second reading of bill number 2013-55.
Second.
Lesh,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Bill number 2013-55, an ordinance authorizing the City of Mexico, Missouri to issue its Industrial Development Revenue Bond, BG Holding Company LLC, Series 2013, for the purpose of providing funds to pay the cost of a project to be leased to BG Holding Company LLC, approving a plan for the project, and authorizing and approving certain documents and actions in connection with the issuance of the bond. I move for passage of bill number 2013-55.
Second.
Lesh,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is bill number 2013-56, an ordinance accepting a stormwater management BMP facilities maintenance agreement for on-site facilities with Audrain Ambulance District in the City of Mexico, Missouri. This is up for 2 readings by title only and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. As part of our stormwater ordinance, it is required that new development have a plan to deal with the stormwater runoff. So, to cover the details of this, I will turn to Kenzie Russell.
As I'm sure you know, Audrain Ambulance is planning on building a new facility over off Kelly Parkway and Dorelli Lane. They have submitted site plans for that to our office that include erosion and sediment control plans and a permanent stormwater management plan. Those have been reviewed and approved by our office. This is the maintenance agreement that guarantees that those permanent improvements will be maintained by the ambulance district or by whoever might succeed them as owner of the property and the facility there. It's the same sort of agreement, same sort of thing that we did not too long ago with Mosers.
Thank you, Kenzie. Lou, I'm good to vote on this, correct? Lou,
You're an employee, right?
yes,
I would declare that on the record and
okay.
just to be safe.
Report that and abstain, or?
I would,
Okay.
when it comes time to vote, note for the record that you're an employee of the ambulance district and that you abstain for that.
Okay. I think I'm an employee, yeah.
I move for reading of bill number 2013-56 by title only.
Second.
Second.
Lesh,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Due to the fact that I am their favorite employee, I'm going to abstain from voting.
Bill number 2013-56, an ordinance accepting a stormwater management /BMP facilities maintenance agreement for on-site facilities with Audrain Ambulance District in the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for second reading of bill number 2013-56.
Second.
Lesh.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes, abstain for the same reason, thank you.
Bill number 2013-56, an ordinance accepting a stormwater management /BMP facilities maintenance agreement for on-site facilities with Audrain Ambulance District in the City of Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of bill number 2013-56.
Second.
Lesh.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Same reason, abstain.
The last ordinance we have this evening is bill number 2013-57, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a contract between the City of Mexico, Missouri and Huff Sealing Corporation for the Mexico Memorial Airport project number 13-038A-1. This is up for 2 readings by title only and passage. Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. This is for some asphalt sealing work to be done at the airport. To cover the details, I'll turn to Russell Run.
Yeah, good evening. The city has applied and received a sub-grant under the Federal Airport and Airway Safety and Capacity Expansion Act. At the April 22nd council meeting, you approved a contract between the city and the MHTC. Federal funds were awarded to the city in the amount of $16,055 for the design and bidding of crack sealing and seal coating of portions of runway 1836, excuse me, and remarking of the entire airfield. These funds represent 95% of the eligible project cost, with the city being responsible for 5% of the project cost. The project uses all of the available federal funding. The city's share would not exceed $845. The 2012-13 annual budget allows for these improvements. The project was advertised correctly on July 16th. Drawings and specs and other related contract information have been available online in the plan room, American Document Solutions. We received one bid. 34 companies were contacted directly. The one bid was from Huff Sealing Corporation in the amount of $212,266.24. That was above the engineer's estimate by over $40,000. We did get approval from MoDOT because it was the only bid, and because of other projects of like-sized communities receiving low numbers bidding on projects, they have approved it at this point. Staff recommends that council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute the contract between the city and Huff Sealing Corporation for the Mexico Airport, project number 13-038A-1. The ordinance has been posted correctly.
Your Honor, I'd make the comment that as a part of this project, as Russell had indicated, that we receive what they call non-primary entitlement funds to do this project. We are using what would be our 2010 allotment, our 2011 allotment, and part of our 12 allotment. The 10 and 11 allotment is a 95-5, meaning we pay 5%. The 2012, they changed that to a 90-10. So this does have a blended rate at 5.7, and so the city's share of this is $15,169 as cost, and we do have that budgeted.
The city, through FAA issues money to MoDOT Aviation, $150,000 because of the size of our airport for us to use on airport facilities. They have a list of things that they prioritize. Obviously, the runway is the number one item, and then getting things out of the obstruction zones and things of that nature, working all the way down into the lowest being the hangars themselves.
Russell, any idea why we got only one bid?
Pardon me?
Any idea why we got only one bid?
No, I do not. But if you look in your pages there, it does. Brian Garkey, our engineer with Crawford Murphy and Tilley, did look at some other communities, Chillicothe and Monroe City and a few others, that had similar type marking projects, and they received, at the most, 3 bids. Some of those projects were 4 or 5 times the size of this one. So I don't understand it either.
Just wasn't enough, I guess.
Maybe so. There's some bigger projects out there they're all bidding on.
It's hard to get people who want to get out there on the runway and duck every time someone's going to land.
Especially when they're flying.
We have solid commitment from the state, though.
Yes.
It's not a preliminary that can be withdrawn or anything like that.
I certainly hope not.
They have to sign off.
Brian has told us, and they do have to sign off on it too, but Brian said he's spoken to them, so.
Yep.
Contract.
Okay, I'm a little confused. Bruce, you said something about 15,000 was the city's portion. And what is it, what's the $845 here at the end of
That was only for the engineering side of it, and that's why I wanted to clarify that this is for the project side now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done our additional portion previously.
Okay.
Okay, I move for first reading of bill number 2013-57 by title only.
Second.
Flash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Bill number 2013-57, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a contract between the City of Mexico, Missouri and Huff Sealing Corporation for the Mexico Memorial Airport Project 13-038A-1. I move for second reading. Bill number 2013-57.
Second.
Lash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes. Bill number 2013-57, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a contract between the City of Mexico, Missouri and Huff Sealing Corporation for the Mexico Memorial Airport Project number 13-038A-1. I move for passage of bill number 2013-57.
Second.
Lash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is other business, and under that we have our claims. I move we pay the bills.
Second.
Lash,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bott.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Next, we have comments. Councilman Botts.
I just want to say thank you to all you who came tonight, and I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate your attendance and speaking up. So many times we don't get much in the way of public input, and I thank you for coming. That's all I have.
Councilman Williams.
I got a few things. One is, with Pearls moving out there by us, on top of the fact we've had 4 totaled cars in front of my store in the last 4 weeks, I think maybe we need to re-examine what's going on out there, because now you're adding Pearls out there, and you're adding the ambulance district out there. So I don't know what a way to better deal with the traffic situation out there, whether it be through speed limit reductions or, and I'm assuming when they come into, when they're annexed in, that the speed limit for the city will expand down to the edge of their property?
What we can do with this is that Business 54 is controlled by DOT, so we will ask them to take another look at it and make any recommendations, reference these issues. Because of the accident history and so on, that will play a part in how they evaluate it.
Okay. Because I'm getting to be concerned as much congestion, as much stuff as we're building out there, and so if we could take a look at that. Second of all, what happened there? I didn't say that this doesn't have anything to do with Corman. It doesn't have anything to do with Huffman. This is all public policy. It's all about public policy. And that's what I was trying to get to, and I'm sorry that delayed it into a debate over, jobs versus one company versus another, because that's not what it's about. It's about public policy and whether, the public agrees with something or they don't agree with something. And I will say again, for the record, that without a policy, we're just open for these kind of things to happen, and nobody wants them to happen. Everybody wants to get along, trust me, and we want jobs, but we have to figure a way where everybody can be on the same page. So that's all I got.
Well, Bill, thank you for getting your job. Thank you for getting Pearl going. Thank you, Corman. Keep going. I guess I run around with a different type of people, because they're not complaining about taxes, about money that much. They're talking about bushes being over the sidewalks in town. And trees hanging down the street where a Corvette would hit them. So, I just used that. It wasn't definitely a Chevrolet comment. It was just a short car. I've got GM on the mind. It's okay.
Yeah, would you give us that list and we will address it?
Okay. That's all I've got.
Councilman Miller.
I didn't say anything earlier, but I just think that it was interesting to hear the discussion tonight, and I think it's a great thing that we can have these discussions, that opposing views can be presented. And I think most of the people who are in the room tonight really we'll go away feeling like that the council did hear what they said, both ways. Because we try to, the law requires us in the statutes on the 100 statutes on the industrial revenue bonds to duly and reasonably consider all the points. And I think we've done that. Congratulate Mel. I think it's a great thing that you're doing for your business. I think it's a great thing that you're doing for the city of Mexico because we need jobs. Everybody up here wants jobs. George, I congratulate you for improving your business, having a nice place out there. I know it's going to be great, and I think that'll do good for business here also. I understand, too, what Councilman Williams was referring to about a policy, and I think that's probably a good thing for us to consider in the future, is to have a policy that businesses will know coming in what the citizens of Mexico and the city council, the city staff will do if they have a desire to to get some help. But there are times, my wife ran a business here for a long time, and one of the things that I heard her say was, local businesses just don't get the help. At that time, we couldn't do it. Maybe now we can, and I think this is good and a step in the right direction. Thank you, Mayor.
Bruce?
Yes, Your Honor. We have been looking at another no parking zone, and that would be on Pollock Road across from across from the military academy. That's always been an issue there, especially when there's events and so on. We did poll the residents, and they've indicated support for it, so we will be bringing that forward at some point. I also want to comment that last week, Russell spent a good portion of the week on an economic development recruiting trip up in Michigan and worked some leads, and we'll wait to see if any of those materialize. So, all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to make a comment about the recent tax holiday. I think it's good that the city participates in that. In our community, I've heard the superintendent of schools talk about the fact that 70% of the kids that go to grades 1 through 6 participate in the food program at the school, either assisted or non-assisted. So that's a high percentage, and I think it's great that we give them a break on one weekend to buy their school supplies and their computers and all the things, and I just wish more of the taxing agencies would participate. I think that's a good thing. So we're one of the few cities that do that around here, but I'm glad we're doing that. Finally, I've heard a lot of comments about this. People I've talked to, they say it's great that we're finally helping local businesses succeed in our community. 30 years ago, I would have agreed that we shouldn't give tax incentives to anybody. Matter of fact, I was opposed to them several years ago, but after having been involved in economic development for over 30 years now, I recognize that on a national level, we compete against other countries. On a state level, we compete against neighboring states and states all over the United States. We also compete against other cities and counties nearby. So if you don't provide incentives, people will go somewhere else. The core of your community is jobs. There will be no community without jobs. There was a city councilman set up here when I came to Mexico. He had been up here for 20 years. He made the comment that we can be a community of 15,000 or we can be a community of 5,000. It's just how the community wants to approach it. You go forward or you go backward. And I believe we need to support business in this community. A lot of people say they're not paying their way. Well, on property taxes, commercial businesses pays 32% of the appraised value. You know what you pay on your home? 19. You know what the farmers pay? 12%. It's very critical that we work with businesses so they're able to compete and be able to establish jobs in this community. Otherwise, we won't be here. You go north of here, look at places like Brevier, Missouri, 1950, 2,500 population. What is the population of Brevier today? 300, 400? That's what we're facing. We either compete or don't exist. So it's pretty easy for me to make a decision on these. Sure, the economics has to work. We don't want to put our city in a situation where the finances long-term are not good for our community. But the school system, particularly in this particular case, will come out ahead. Just think about this for a minute. We're saying 20 jobs. I have no doubt in my mind that Mel's going to create more than 20 jobs. But let's say 20 jobs, 10 families out of those 20. 2 kids in each family. 20 kids times $6,500 per student they get per year times 12 years in school. That's $1.56 million. That is a lot of money. And it was created because one gentleman went out and said, I'm gonna bet on Mexico. I'm gonna create jobs here. So that's my feelings on it. You know everything that I've been thinking, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, and the people I've talked to agree with that it's a good thing. But anyway, that's my comments. Other comments, council? Okay, comments from the public. Seeing none, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Lesh,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Bott,
Yes.